If you're looking for a rugged off-roading performance vehicle, there's really not too many options. Today, Carlos and Tommy has given us the 2022 Lexus GX 460 here at Lexus of Wesley Chapel in the black exterior. What are you going to receive new? Starts off in the interior with a large infotainment screen, redesigned dashboard. They do have a black line special edition. We don't have that one today. The luxury SUV keeps the styling cues from 2010, but it's still a body on frame, which is something that we really do enjoy because you're not going to receive that with the Land Rover Defender or even the Volvo XC90, but it will compare against those. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new Lexus GX 460, it's known for its off-roading performance, and it's going to start off with that massive enlarged grille, which really sets a good tone, and no high gloss black polish. It's going to be a gray, which I do like the fact that they're changing this up because it gives a different styling cue to the vehicle. We have the triple beam LED headlamps, which are signature L daylight runnings. Because we got the premium package, that's going to add LED fog lamps on the lower trim as well. And all the proportion layouts just really scream I'm ready to go off-roading for some performance. The ground clearance at 8.1 inches. Now this is something that is not necessarily as much as the Defender or the Volvo XC90. However, it's a vehicle that's known to go into deserts and going to environments in which even the Land Rover Defender goes into the same. The Volvo XC90 is not going to be as capable as this particular vehicle. With a width of 74.2 inches and a height of 73.8 inches, 3 skid plates, curb weight at 5,266 pounds. The Volvo will be a little bit wider but shorter. The Defender will be wider and taller, just to note on that. But whenever you're looking at it, the cues that they have, there's really no fake vents, and I do like the fact that they do that because everything is brushed off, nicely polished. You're going to get a mid-size hood with the line structures that just show you that you're ready for some performance. And I also like the fact that even the fenders, they're not flaring out too much. It's just a touch to give that luxury, encasing these 18-inch dark gray metallic alloy wheels. 13.3 inches is the disc reading for the front, 12.3 inches is the rear. You're going to have a 3.9 axle ratio, electronic transfer case, full-time 4-wheel drive, double wishbone front suspension with coil springs, multi-link rear with air springs. Both the front and the rear will have your anti-roll bars. Now, if you are comparing this, like I have been, to the Volvo and the Land Rover, body on frame, just remember that because when we do the drive, you're going to see it's going to be a little bit more bumpy because it's not a unibody platform, so it's going to be more performance driven with this one, and a little bit more for the off-roading capabilities, whereas the unibody is going to be more of a luxury interior drive. You're not going to feel the bumps as much. A length at 192.1 inches, the wheelbase at 109.8 inches. The Volvo is going to be longer and the Defender will be the longest of the three, but I do like the attributes because this keeps a luxury slash traditional mid-size SUV styling. So you're going to have some chrome treatment and you're going to have some black treatment that covers those windows. And I do like the fact that you don't have to really do a lot to this vehicle. It's already done. You got the running boards to get in, and you got the chrome that's on the exterior of the handles, and on the interior, it's all blacked out, polished. So that way it fits the cues, the line structures implement into the rear, integrating into your large taillights. You do have a roof spoiler, and it's almost like a shelf because of the way the setup is. A nice attribute to the vehicle, when you push here, you can go to your cargo through the window. So you don't have to actually open up the cargo all the time. And I do like that because this is something that it's starting to kind of get popular again and makes it easier, especially if you're just getting some groceries. You don't need to open the full thing. You got some chrome treatment. You will have a 6,500 pound towing rate. It will be more than the Volvo XC90, a little bit less than the Land Rover Defender. However, the setup is going to be a little bit more boxy and traditional. You got your reverse parking sensors, your rear cross traffic alert. You also have your reverse camera. Whenever you go to open the door, unfortunately, this is something I don't necessarily like for the cargo because it's a little bit of a heavy door, and the whole status of this vehicle is a little bit more weighted, which I do like the fact that they do that. It's just opening it up, you got to go from this side. So it's going to be more European, traditional style, with cargo starting at 11.6 cubic feet, which is more than the Defender. The third row bench split folds at a 50-50 split, giving you 46.7 cubic feet. The second row bench split folds at a 60-40, maxing the cargo to 64.7 cubic feet. It will be a little bit less than the Defender and the Volvo. The new Lexus GX 460 only gives us one engine option, which backs that performance with a V8 4.6 liter producing 301 horsepower and 329 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, achieving 15 to 19 mpgs with a 0 to 60 around 7.2 seconds, quarter mile at 15.6 seconds, and a top speed at 111 miles per hour. The nice thing about this particular vehicle when you're comparing it to the Land Rover Defender or even the Volvo XC90 is you don't have to really worry about, do I need more power? Do I need less power? Is it going to get better mpgs? Blah, blah, so forth and so on. Only one option, and that's what you're getting with this vehicle. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Lexus GX 460 as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Lexus GX 460, you're going to receive 38 inches of headroom, 41.7 inches of legroom, which will be more than the Defender and the Volvo XC90. Brown leather, it's perforated, you got some stitch work, 10-way power adjustments for the front seat. They're ventilated, they're heated. Driver's seat's going to receive memory. I do like the way I feel in the Lexus. The leather is very soft. You got the redesigned dashboard, which sets a good tone to the example of this off-roading beast. You got wood inlays, metal look inlays, high gloss black polish in the center with that 10.3 touchscreen infotainment. We have navigation, so we have the pinch, we have the swipe. This has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, FM, AM, HD radio, CD player. Switching to reverse, you do have trajectory. It's pretty clean screen. I wish it was the full size, and you can change different viewpoints in it, and you can also take those dynamic grid lines off if you want. Bluetooth connectivity, and if it's not enough, you have your touchpad right here so you can still play with everything and configure it to make it easy. And it's retro fit, which I like the fact that they're doing it because it makes it super easy. The gloss black polish with the dual climate control settings right here, and you have your clock that's digital. I wish it was an analog clock just because this is a luxury vehicle, but you know what? The center is cleaned up significantly. You still got some storage area here. You have your USB ports, the gear lever, you got the leather around it with the metal look on the top. Cup holders, you can easily fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle. You can fit a 32 ounce without any issues. These slide up as well, which will kind of hurt the cup holder area a little bit, but 16.9 ounce still fits. Slide it back, opening up in here to a deep storage that you can fit a lot of goodies. I mean, you can almost fit a pocketbook inside here. That's how big it is in storage. Elbow is going to be soft. You're going to be holding that 3-spoke wood and leather mixed steering wheel. It's multi-function. The gauge cluster will have a 4.2 digital display that can go through an array of information and pretty much all the things that you need for your safety, tire pressure, any messages or anything like that. As the sit, you do sit up pretty good. Even though the ground clearance isn't significantly high, you do feel taller, so that is a good aspect. Door panel, harder materials on the top. You're going to get the metal look on the grab handle, one touch up and down, dual pane front windows. I do like that because it's going to be a lot quieter even though it's body on frame. Storage in the door panel, you can easily fit, I would say, 4 to 5 16.9 ounce water bottles. You do have a sunroof as well, so you got pretty much all the amenities you need. Let's check out the second row. For the second row, I'm at 40.4 inches of headroom, which is more than the XC90, and it's about the same as the Defender. Leg space at 35.2 inches, so it's sufficient. You got your third climate control, heated rear seats, storage behind both of the seats, and 2 USB ports as well. I do like that you have the air vents in the ceiling because this makes it feel so much cooler in any category, even when you get into the third row, which you'll see in a second. Another nice thing is we can move these seats up, and I would have absolutely no space, as you can see, and we can move them back as well, which will probably move it all the way up so I can actually fit in the back. Another nice thing is you can recline these, and the reclining is almost like sleeping. And if you adjust the air vents in the ceiling, you can make it feel like you're in an airplane. Elbows is going to be soft on both sides. You do kind of sit like this as for a taller person. Cup holders, I would say you could fit 32 to 40 ounce bottle of water. 16.9 ounce fits without any issue. As for the door panel, harder materials on the top. You get that metal look for the grab handle. One touch up and down for the rear windows. They're not dual pane. You can fit probably 3 or 4 16.9 ounce water bottles for storage. Floor is not completely flat. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom, no problem. Leg room, I'm pretty much against the back of the front seats. They do have a little bit of a shelf, so if you're a little bit shorter, you shouldn't have any issues. As for shoulder space and leg space, absolutely no problems. It's just the way you sit, it does sit you up a little bit more higher than on the sides. But with any mid-sized luxury SUV, the real treat is using that third row. Let's move this up. See how I look back there. For the third row, I'm at 35.2 inches of headroom, which will be more than the XC90, 29.3 inches of leg room. It's gonna be a little bit tight. I obviously, like you saw, moved the seats up all the way. If you recline these in the all the way position, I could still kind of fit, but it's gonna be a little bit tight. So just to show you for the reclining purposes, as for the elbows, it's gonna be more firm because it's basically harder materials in the back. The windows are pretty large, so it does make it pretty good with that. And you got some air vents in the ceiling, so you can feel the coolness pretty much everywhere. Cup holders, you can fit a 32 ounce, 16.9 ounce fits pretty good. The big problem that I have with third row seats in midsize SUVs is you typically have to move up multiple rows in order for everybody to fit comfortable. But you can fit if need be. Taking the 2022 Lexus GX 460 out for our test run. The nice thing about this vehicle is it is super quiet. They do keep a lot of the luxury amenities, over 300 horsepower, so you do have efficiency in it. The towing is good. Everyday use is pretty good. Visibility in the front isn't too bad. The 8 pillars, I will say, kind of are a little bit of an eyesore, only because of the front windscreen being a little bit smaller than a larger SUV, or even some mid-size SUVs, I will say. So I do like the fact that the dash isn't overly long, and the hood with it together, it does a good balance, so that way you know that you have a little bit of length in the back, because it's not necessarily a short vehicle either. As for looking into the rear, only blind spots are pretty much in the cargo area, and even with that, it's still not necessarily too bad because all the windows are super large. As you're seeing while I'm driving, super quiet, and that's around 20-25 miles per hour. You don't hear anything at all. And this is a body on frame. We're gonna check how that 0 to 60 is with this one trim fits all. 301 horsepower, 329 pound-feet of torque at its best to give it some gas, and you can start hearing the engine note, and I like it. V8 powered, feels good. As going over any terrain, it just glides over it. As for dynamics, you're not gonna really wanna do too much. There's a little play in the steering wheel as well because of the type of vehicle that it is, made for off-roading performance and everyday use. You can do both of them. And this is the type of vehicle that you would actually wanna take off-roading because you can. The specs to it is crazy. We are set for a redesign for around 2023. However, it's still such a bargain deal, and anytime they do a refresh, you're going to pay for it in the price point, and you're getting most of the updates. You're going to be getting the tech already implemented in the vehicle. The exterior styling obviously is going to change the cues a little bit, but at the end of the day, I kind of like the way it fits and it feels on the road. You do hear a little bit of road noise through the wheel well area, but that's pretty much it for the most part. Blind spot monitoring, so it does help also with that aspect because you have your safety in this vehicle. And to check the braking on the vehicle, if you really need to stop, it will have the grabbing that you need. Checking the turn radius, we're going to try to do it at a stop point so you can see it's going to be getting about right at 2 lanes, give or take, giving it the gas that it needs. It does take a little bit for it to get engaged, but once it does, it livens up and it feels very good once it does. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike, because anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like: the ride is so smooth. Lexus just does an excellent job. I say it about almost every time I drive a Lexus, because you don't really expect to get this much smoothness in a ride at the price point that you're at. This is under 60 grand. The second thing that I like, they cleaned up this center with the updated infotainment. It's too many buttons before, now it's nice and fitted perfect. So the image is exactly what they were really wanting to implement. The last thing that I like is the fact that this is a true off-roader and a daily driver altogether. On the flip side, the three things that I dislike: the cargo, it's not the greatest. Using the third row, it's going to be complicated as well. As you can see, it can work, but you have to adjust the second row. And in some cases, the driver, front passenger might have to adjust. The second thing that I dislike is how the cargo door opens. It's a lot heavier than any of the competitors, and it just makes it a little bit more tough to get inside. The third thing that I dislike about the vehicle is they haven't really done a lot of changes in it. I do wish that they would at least give a little bit more power underneath the hood, because 301 horsepower, it would be nice to see 350 or even 400 horsepower, because the vehicle has a pretty heavy curb weight, and it would give it a little bit more drive, especially the 0 to 60 or when you're giving it that gas. There's a lot of things that I like about this particular vehicle because of the way everything is in it. It's very close, user-friendly, something that you don't have to sit down and actually go crazy with the infotainment, because everything is user-friendly, like I just said. I also like the fact that when you drive it, you kind of feel higher up, but you're not higher up to the point where it's hard to get into the vehicle. So that is a nice attribute, because typically with these vehicles, you start feeling that ground clearance and you say, man, and you start looking around because you're afraid you can't do anything on an incline. This vehicle, you can do it and you don't have too many issues with that. Whether you're on or off-roading, you're gonna be driving very comfortably. Towing, you can use it for a small boat. It is pretty good. Dynamics, as you can see, you're not going to be going crazy, but you can still take turns and not worry too much. It's going to be a little bit more boat derived because it's a top heavy vehicle at the end of the day. But as for the comfort, driving in long journeys, not going to be issues. Stop and go traffic, same thing. You need to hit the brake, perfect. Safety features, you're getting the upgraded technology, pretty much all the bells and whistles.